Hey, fans of the Monday Movie Club. This week is Annie's choice. She chose Big from 1988. I'm Frank Gaffney. Here with us is Joel. That's all it says. Annie King. Annie King is actually in her bedroom. What is that about? Amy Goldman. Mark Wotsitz. Gartner has a picture up. We like that. Annie, why Big?
It's a great movie. It's fun and it's, who hasn't wished they were older at some, when they were young?
Well, I don't wish I don't wish I'm
13?
now.
Not now, but,
I want to go the other way.
I had seen enough of these movies when I was a kid. Once you saw
Right.
Freaky Friday and you saw how
Freaky
that
Friday, sure.
Right.
we're kind of done with that concept.
Right.
You
There
have
was
to
more.
start
There were
out.
more than that. There was quite a few. My first job out of college was being the second assistant to the office manager for 20th Century Fox in New York. And so then it was a great job and I learned a lot. But I got to see all the people that worked in that office for 20th Century Fox, because they had TV division, they had film division. And so I made friends with the film publicity department, and 2 years later, they hired me as an assistant. And this was the first film I worked on at Fox.
With Scott, what's his name? Scott Levine?
No, this was Dennis Higgins.
Oh, Dennis.
Yes.
Love Dennis.
And so I was 30 at the time. Tom Hanks was 32. He won an Oscar. I did not. He was nominated for an Oscar for this movie. All right. But I remember in the weeks open before the movie, everybody loved the movie and they really wanted to push it. And so we did a ton of screenings, and Tom Hanks actually came to New York to do publicity. And he was such a sweetheart. He really was. And at that point in his career, he really wasn't like a big movie star. I mean, he had done some movies, and Splash was probably the biggest hit he had up until then. But that was 3 years before this movie. And he had Bosom Buddies, of course. And so he wasn't exactly a movie star. So, and it actually hadn't affected him yet. So he'd be like, oh, I'll get there. I'll take the subway or a taxi, whatever, and I'll get there. I'm like, no, Tom, you don't understand. We have to make sure you get where you're supposed to be. So you have to take the limousine. He did not want a limousine. Wow. Which was so cute, really. All right. So then Penny Marshall, of course, had one modest hit with Jumping Jack Flash. I think it was a little bit of a fluke, really. Whoopi Goldberg was kind of hot at the time. And so this could have been the sophomore slump. We were very worried about it. And there were, like Joel said, there were a few body switching movies, even besides Freaky Friday. But James L. Brooks was producing this one, and Fox really was going to give him whatever he wanted because he was doing The Simpsons for them, and they were making a buttload of money on The Simpsons. What?
Unlike now.
Well, I'm sure they're still making a buttload.
That was a joke.
Oh, I see. Probably not as much because they're paying the cast beaucoup bucks now. But the best thing I remember, and Aim, I think you might remember too, was that for the premiere party, they closed down FAO Schwartz, the toy store in the movie, and we had the premiere party. They had to take out all kinds of insurance because they were worried that people were going to take toys home with them and stuff. So, but they also set up that very piano in the lobby so you could jump on it yourself. So it was kind of fun. And then we had to, we gave goodie bags as people left with different things in it, like silly string and stuff from the movie. But all the menus were like, little cheeseburgers and all things that kids would like to eat. And they were passing them around,
Baby
right?
corn.
The little corn, right? So it was very fun. And probably my first job on this movie was stuffing those damn bags. I had to do 500 of them. All right, so all that was fun. And then and the movie was a big hit, and Penny Marshall actually became the first woman to have directed a movie that made over $100 million. Good for her. And Tom got his first Oscar nomination and also was nominated for original screenplay. But Tom lost to Dustin Hoffman for Rain Man, which also won the Screenplay Award. Little known fact, although you probably know, Penny Marshall's first choice to play Josh was Robert De Niro. Yeah,
Oof.
that would have been a very different movie. Okay, so we know the basic plot. Enough about me. Josh Baskin lives in New Jersey. He's having trouble like every regular kid has problems. He's not tall enough to mac on Cynthia from school. So he asks a Zoltar machine at the carnival to make him big. I didn't know what exactly he wanted to be big. And then the next morning, he wakes up as Tom Hanks. Why it takes 24 hours for him to turn into Tom Hanks, but 2 seconds to turn back into Josh is another question. So, okay, so then he decides he needs to get back to the Zoltar machine to reverse the curse. And he has the idea that he has to get a list of the Zoltar machines, and it's going to take 6 weeks. So what to do? He gets a job, of course, at this toy company read by Robert Loggia, who he runs into at F.A.R. Schwartz, and they do that classic moment, jumping on the piano keys, which actually is a very brilliant shot because there's one shot. I mean, it's a good 30 seconds. They're just jumping on the piano. Today, you'd have to have a cut here, a cut there, see that leg. It's so great to watch them actually doing it. All right. Okay, so now let's talk about the nits to pick. There are nits, you know it. There are.
No nits.
There are some serious. Oh, come on. There's some serious shit going on here. Poor Billy is in an abusive home. Josh's mom is being tortured because her kid is kidnapped. Where's the FBI? Hello.
And here's my thing about that. Billy's parents, he's going into the city every day after school, right after his best friend is kidnapped, and the parents just don't know that he's gone for 5 hours every day.
I'm assuming since they live in Jersey, they're mob related. So, you know.
And then, all right, so then the FBI could have chased Josh's call when he called. That would have been it. And then Billy keeping the secret from Josh's mom, when she's so upset, he could have just told her the story instead of having her continue to think Josh was dead. And poor big Josh, his mom tries to knife him. He goes to a scary flop house where he might get shot or bit by bed bugs. How cruel is this movie? Not to mention, then he gets a great job, a huge apartment in Manhattan, and he manages to furnish it on his new salary. And he's so excited when he sees a check for $187. Imagine when he saw the check for $10,000. And how did he pass a credit check? That's what I want to know. He's getting furniture and shit. And the social security number thing, I'm like, and of a 13-year-old who got kidnapped, if he gave an actual social security number, they would know who he was. But I guess the FBI was off like the Avengers. Not available.
No, Billy's mob parents scared them away.
There you go.
And of course, more than anything, Elizabeth Perkins is a pedophile.
No,
on,
hold
Liz.
on.
Josh is 13.
When she finds out that he's 13, at the end, he goes in to kiss her on the lips. She kisses him on the forehead. She does the proper thing. I watched that specifically because I was waiting for someone to say that.
And trivia said that was her idea to do. To
Not
not
kiss him on the forehead?
Yeah. So Elizabeth Perkins, the actress, is actually not a pedophile. It was whoever wrote the script the other way is the pedophile.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when Billy, so when Billy drops off Josh at this seedy hotel, he says, I gotta be home by 10. On a school night? I can believe everything else in this movie, but no way.
It was the 80s. You go out.
Mob
can't-
parents
no.
in New Jersey explains a lot of stuff away.
And then this 13-year-old boy goes through the seediest part of New York City to go home to make his curfew. I'm glad he made it. And come on, he couldn't find a nicer hotel in New Jersey? And that's where the Zoltar machine was. So he could have gone to the permit office in New Jersey, which is probably less crowded, that, you know, Vinny Boombox, who's the only guy that works there, would personally know the guy who ran the carnival was Joey Bag of Donuts.
Yeah, but
It's a
the,
kids movie.
and the Zoltar machine is not in New Jersey at the end. It's in Rye, New York.
Yes, but they originally got the permit for the one in Jersey.
So
Well, I mean, that's totally in the goofs as well. They absolutely should have gone to Jersey to find out where it was gonna be.
All right. And then when Josh said,
Go ahead, Joe.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead,
say
John.
again, Billy's mob parents can explain all of that away too. They
That's a
looked
different-
into it for him, and they knew they didn't have it in Jersey.
it's a different movie. And then when Josh said, I'm going to be 30 years old the rest of my life, all I could think of was Paul Rudd. Okay. But the entire movie is just adorable. I love this movie. Tom Hanks proved he's not only a box office draw, but he's also a great actor. That moment when he's in the bed crying like a little kid, I was like, oh my God, he is so 13 right now. A beautiful job. This one definitely gets 3.5 stars from me. It's actually, I love this movie. It's in my collection as well. So, Aim, don't you agree?
Yeah, and this
Did
is
you
the
go to
mo-
the Fox party?
I don't remember. You
Ah.
would have had to have invited me. This was the movie that said I must work for 20th Century Fox, and a year later I did. Thanks to Frank
Well,
getting me.
but you were at Paramount, right? Simon and Schuster.
I was at Simon and Schuster, but I was all ensconced. No, actually, I had left Simon for the
For
guy
sure.
creating the games for them by then.
Thank God I rescued you.
No, it was a good job. Ron Martinez, it was a good job. I love you if you're watching. And Debbie Weinberger. But so yeah. What did I write down?
Big,
Right?
big, big.
The little nits that I would pick just are that there's just so many cliches, but this is the
Oh, yeah.
kind of movie that is just loaded with cliches. Everything that happens, you know is going to happen, and you know she's going to fall for him, and you know the other guy's going to be an asshole, and blah 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 blah. It's
But
funny.
nobody plays a dick like John Hurt.
Oh my God, yeah. It's funny because I had seen this movie between 1988 and maybe 2000, maybe 100 times. So while I
Wow.
didn't remember every
Wow.
moment that was going to happen, I remembered every little moment that happened when it happened. Like, oh, he's going to say the line like this. He's going to pull her up onto the trampoline, just bleh. Every single minute of the movie. I was like, oh my God, I so remember this exactly. I saw this movie so many times. I loved it. And one quote, I took one note and I wrote down this one quote because I thought whoever came up with this quote just threw the pen and said, that's it. I just wrote the greatest line in movie history. When John Hurt's character said to Elizabeth Perkin, what's so special about Baskin? And she said, he's a grown-up. That line to me is the best line I've heard in a long time. Loved it. Does nobody agree how great that line is?
Great line.
It's a good
Right.
line. I could,
It's
I could sit here.
great.
I don't know in the
He's grown up.
pantheon of good lines where that would
I'm
rate.
sitting here going, I came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum is a better line than me. So
Right.
Ah.
Even get the chopper.
yeah,
All right. And the only other thing I'll say is I did see the Broadway show because I love the movie so much. And the Broadway show didn't hold a candle to the movie, but I remember going outside, and Penny Marshall came outside and she was also and she was so close to me. And I so wanted to say, oh my God, the movie was so much better. But I didn't. I chickened out. I so clearly
blew
This
remember.
smoke in
was
her face?
during the intermission.
What?
During the intermission.
Yeah.
So you didn't know it could have gotten better in Act 2.
Sure.
does it ever, Frank?
Yeah.
No.
And anyway, that's it. I love this movie. So based on how many times I've seen it and how much I loved it, I have to give it 4 stars. There was not a moment of the movie that I was like, let's go.
Even watching it for the 101st time.
Yeah, because I could still appreciate how great it was, how well it was made. And just like Joel, I saw Freaky Friday in like 1976 in the theater, and probably Annie. And this was how you make this movie.
Wasn't there one with George Burns like 18 again?
Yes,
and
but that 18
Wait,
again
wait.
and vice versa,
Vice versa.
vice versa.
like father,
Yes.
like son, all came around the same time as Big.
Was vice versa Judge Reinhold?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's Judge
And
Reinhold.
little,
Freddie.
And Fox
Savage.
was genuinely concerned that all of those were gonna, this was gonna get lumped in with all of those.
Well,
Yeah.
and it should, but it's the best of them. So
Oh, yeah.
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 It's
And it
definitely
was
the
fun.
mix.
One thing I did forget, I forgot John Lovitz was in the movie. I love him, and he was well into Saturday Night Live at the time. So it was like, oh my God, it's John Lovitz.
I didn't
And-
look it up. Sorry, I didn't look it up, but I know that the two of them did their whole skit together. They, hello and goodbye on SNL. Tom Hanks and him. I didn't know which one came first.
Yeah, yeah.
Did the movie come
I
first?
don't
That's where
know.
they met, or did he bring him into the
Hello
movie?
and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Right. That's a great
Yeah,
show.
but again, John Lovitz is quite the dick in this movie too.
Sure.
When he's
But I
like,
love
"See
him.
that lady in red? Say hello to her, and she's yours."
Love him, love him, love him.
I think that's a little bit of slut shaming right there.
Well, sure. And it was fun seeing Deborah Jo Rupp, who was a nobody then and is
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
That was fun.
All right, Mark G, you have the picture up, so you must love this movie.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a favorite of mine. I guess for me, I was in 7th grade, just turning 13 when this came out.
So you were
So
the
it's
target
timing.
audience.
Timing is everything, and I hadn't quite hit my growth spurt yet, so I was kind of short, and I had a
Those
crush
are
on the cute girl. Huh?
As opposed to now?
Yes, I'm a strapping 5'9" now. Yes, but back
Waiting
then I
for
was
he's still
5'3".
he's still waiting for the growth spurt.
Yes. Anyway, I like the cute girl. She barely acknowledged me. And unlike the movie, though, my two best friends were these big fucking ogres who had been shaven since like the 5th grade. And I remember I would be like, look, I got my second chin hair. I'm almost a man, and they're over there braiding.
And when he met Danielle, she said, "You got to be this tall to ride this."
Yeah. Luckily, I was at that point. Anyway, whatever. Point is that I just like I said last year with the Karate Kid, that came out 6 weeks after I started taking martial arts. This came out when I basically was Josh Baskin, so it definitely hit home for me.
And the Bronx
Yeah.
is almost Jersey. It's almost Jersey.
It's the better version of Jersey.
Hey.
Jersey stinks. Literally, garbage dumps. Even after all these years, I thought the movie is just charming and adorable, and only Tom Hanks could play this role. He's a 10 out of 10 perfect. It's funny, as many times as I've seen the movie, and I hadn't seen it in several years, Danielle and I were noticing all just the little things, him mouthing the word incisive, because he had no idea what it meant.
Yeah.
I mean, I believed it. I mean, like you said, Frank, great acting. I mean, he was the role.
I think I read at one point that Penny Marshall actually had the kid Josh do all of his lines,
Mhm.
Yes.
so that he could hear the kid
Yeah.
doing the lines.
Sure, it sounds like Forrest Gump. Yeah. Same thing happened to
He
that.
did that in Forrest Gump, yeah.
Yeah. And just everything he did. I can relate to all that stuff. Whenever I hear the song Memories, I sing it just like Josh does in my head, at least. And I forgot this was a Penny Marshall film. I guess it's because I didn't really care about that when I was a kid or even a young man, so I was surprised by that. Anyway, I could talk about this all day. I'm going 3 3/4 stars. Love it.
Annie, you picked it, so you must love it.
I love it. It's like everyone said, it's a great fun movie. I mean, yeah, there are nits, and I'm willing to forget all that. Although I did pick some, this time. Normally I wouldn't have picked nits, but since you guys
See how we've taught you to nitpick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's like all of a sudden he's dressed in suits and everything now. It's okay.
Obviously, we've ruined every movie for Annie now.
You have, yes.
Seriously.
But I think he's just great in this, like fabulous. I was like, no one else could have done it. He just did such a great job in it. And it's just so much fun. And I love those movies. 13 Going on 30, Freaky Friday.
Oh yeah, you made us watch that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So I love them. And I guess I always want to be something I'm not, maybe.
Oh, Freaky Friday was a great movie.
Yeah.
I never saw that one.
2024.
You're gonna make me put it on the list. Okay.
No, I don't
The
know.
original or the
Either
Original.
one. They're both good.
They're comparable.
I only saw the original.
Yeah, so for me, this is a 4-star. It's always fun to watch. And there's, like Amy said, there's no slow moments. It's just a great
No.
fun night. So, and Morgan hates really seeing old movies. She's like, what do I like? She's never seen Indiana Jones. She's never, so whatever.
I'm a little sad that those are considered old movies.
I know.
Yes.
It's like Mark watching a black and white movie.
But it's like us in the 80s watching a movie from the 40s. You're like, ooh.
Yeah.
I had no problems with that.
Or Mark now.
Seriously.
So I made her watch this one. I was like, "You're gonna love this one," and she did.
And yeah,
Loved it.
loved it.
Can we get her star ranking as well, please?
Hey, Morgan, how many stars would you give Big
Out of 4.
out of 4?
All right. You might have to go and ask that question.
You can write it in the comments.
3
Yeah.
3/4.
3 3/4.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's more than I gave it.
Yeah.
All right, Jolie.
Great.
Oh, wait, you're not
Four
done?
for me.
Okay. I already
It's
wrote
4
that.
for me, and okay, and
You
3
said that.
3/4 for Morgan. Okay.
All right. Joel.
God, do I hate this movie? No, I'm kidding.
Nah.
There's not much else I can add to this conversation at this point. I actually really like the genre concept of the body switching movies, and I think I've enjoyed most of them. I have a high nostalgia factor for Freaky Friday, so to me, this is, yes, it's better than Freaky Friday, but I can't say that I love it more than Freaky Friday. So, and then
what year was Freaky Friday? Wasn't that in the 70s?
76?
Yeah, 76. So, I mean, I saw that in the
76.
theaters, yeah, and
In 76 when you were
I was 7, 8, something like that. So
You were 7.
Alright.
I was 7
How do I know this more than you?
because
Ah,
I had a long fucking night last night. That's why.
wow. I did too. I didn't get home till 12:30. So let's
Oh,
talk about that.
Yeah, I won't get into the details. I was up till about 3. Anyway, Tom Hanks is great. He deserved the Oscar nomination. The script deserved the Oscar nomination. I don't remember what else was nominated other than Rain Man. Having read the original script for Rain Man, I could tell you it did not deserve an Oscar nomination. I'm still trying to figure out how they got from that first draft that I read to what was on the screen, because
Yeah.
I
Dustin
think they just
Hoffman.
kind of tossed the script and moved on. When you
Yeah.
got a scene where the brothers are putting together a motorcycle in the basement of a barn where they're surrounded by neo-Nazis, you're kind of like, how did we get to an Oscar-winning film from this?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that's true of a lot of Oscar-winning films.
yeah, it
They
is.
just somehow get on the right track.
There are nits to pick. I think everybody's kind of thrown them out there, and I do believe at this point that the off-the-cuff mob concept that I came up with kind of does
Explains a lot.
It
Explains a lot.
explains a lot.
They are from Jersey, so
Yeah, every
they probably live right next door to the Sopranos.
exactly, or at least a block over, because the Sopranos had that big house with the big driveway.
It was sprawling. It was
Yeah.
sprawling.
So, I love the fact that I can still recognize everything at Rye Playland. I haven't been there in probably since a couple of years after this movie came out at this
Yeah.
point in my life, but
That's not Rye Playland. That's New Jersey.
Right.
yeah, oh, I'm sorry, right, yes, it's New Jersey. It's not New Jersey, it's Rye Playland.
Not technically Rye Playland, that's Rye Beach.
Rye Beach, yes, sorry, same thing, it's all connected. You
Yeah.
have to park in the same damn lot.
We actually went to Rye Playland like right after the movie because we were like, oh my God, let's go see what it really looks like.
Right, and you couldn't find those old
No, it
towns
wasn't there.
there.
Wasn't
love
there
how
4
he
years
had-
ago either.
Yeah.
I love
What?
I love how
Annie?
I love how
Stop talking over Annie. Go ahead.
I love how he unplugged the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so good.
And
And
it's-
I love how they covered up the fact that the very first thing you think when you first see him do it is like, where the hell is that thing plugged in? This is so stupid. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's in the middle of nowhere.
And that's one of the things I really do like about the film is that it sets everything up and gets moving very quickly. It doesn't belabor anything. And I love the fact that there's no like if this movie were remade today, there'd have to be an explanation that the machine was cursed by,
Yeah.
Transylvanian gypsies or
Oh, yeah.
something like that. And that Josh's family had hurt them in some way, and that's why he was, and I love that.
And it's Jersey, so the mob would have
It's
been
right.
involved.
I love that it just does what it does, and you don't question it. You just
Joel,
move
you
forward.
just reminded me of one thing I forgot to say. The only other thing that the nit that I would pick is that he was so narrating things for our sake. No kid would play an entire video game and read everything
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
loud. It's driving
Yeah,
me
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also a movie convention,
Sure.
It's like, you
Yeah.
and I miss that sometimes. You're watching a TV show and people are getting texts back and forth, and then you're like, what the fuck does that say? I can't read that.
Yeah.
I
That's
hit
too
pause
small.
every
Text
time.
is too
Yeah.
small.
But I'm gonna go with Frank and give it 3.5 stars. So
Joel, we agree more than not. It's amazing.
I know that.
Because we're the true cinephiles, these people.
Oh, God.
All right. Any other comments on Big? I did not see the Broadway show, but I would go see it.
I like last week with True Lies and wanting to see the story told from the wife's point of view.
Right.
I'd love to see a story like this told from the point of view of like Elizabeth Perkins. It's
Right.
like all of a sudden halfway through the movie she discovers what and see how that played out. I don't know. Just anyway.
I think I have somebody about to make a comment on this whole thing.
Yeah.
It would be but and it's so funny because she's there and then Josh is gone from her life. It's like now she has to go sleep with another employee.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Have
then
they been-
John Lovett, she'll work her way down the
Yeah. It's like who's next?
Have there been movies made from the kid's point of view, like a grown-up wishing he was younger again?
that's the George
18
Burns
Isn't
again.
that
movie.
the George Burns one? Yeah.
18 again.
I've just been handed a bulletin. Would they be allowed to call a movie big today, or would it be considered offensive?
To who?
Short
To whom?
shaming. I mean,
Oh, to big people?
Because you can't say anything anymore without descriptors.
He's not joining our call.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a big fat guy, no, I would not be offended by them calling a movie big.
That's
Does he
right.
use the-
Joel
does
is
he use the
big.
word woke a lot?
What?
Does he use the word woke a lot?
Is he woke? Paul, are you woke?
Whatever that means.
He's a woke.
You're in Florida. You're not allowed to be woke down there.
No,
Yeah.
and he lives in Stewart, Florida, on the East Coast.
This is
Oh, I have friends
pretty much
there.
The epicenter for a non-woke.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, kids.
I'm out.
He's out, he said. Thank God. Big is available to stream on Disney or Hulu if you subscribe. And we obviously recommend it, so you should watch it again.
Just
Or
a
you
quick
could-
a quick addition to that because it's not on Disney Plus.
Oh, it's not?
The Blu-ray has an extended version of the film that runs 2 hours and 10 minutes. I did not get a chance to watch it this time, but it is out there and available. So.
What does it have?
So all the things we admired about this movie, not having too much exposition and being to the point, is now expanded to 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Does it add to the movie? Does it?
Yes, it adds an extra half hour, or
20
so.
minutes. All right, next week we're going to talk about the Coen Brothers cult classic, The Big Lebowski, which is celebrating its 25th anniversary, and as part of our year-long, once-a-month review of movies from 1998, and it actually was playing in movie theaters this week because of the 25th anniversary. All right,
Where can we stream it?
on my butt.
I didn't realize that was the name of a streaming service.
No,
Frank.
it's not. It's not on the usual streaming services.
Oh.
Hang,
So
hang on.
you're SOOL. Is
I
there
have to
two O's in
agree.
that? Yeah, it's two O's in that, right? SOOO.
It's just Ada.
SOL is what I've.
SOL.
SOL?
Just Ada.
SOL.
Ada.
Well, this
It's
whole
on
thing,
Prime.
this whole thing is FUBAR.
It's on Prime. The Big Lebowski's on Prime.
Oh, it is on Prime. Okay,
For free
good.
or for rent?
You can watch
No,
it on Prime.
it says subscription to Prime. It's streaming.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you
It's also
go.
available for rent on everything. So
Yeah.
Right. So watch it on Prime. I actually watched it on the plane, so I'm all set.
I watched it last week in the theater. I'm all set too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you need a big screen for this movie?
You need a big screen for every movie. You need
Ah.
you need not an airplane screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a home
I was
screen.
this close to it though.
Doesn't matter. I watched Gravity for the first time on an airplane because there was nothing else to watch. And I'm like, wow, this is a good movie on an airplane screen. I'm sure it'd be 1,000 times better on a real screen.
Right.
Well, I have seen it on a real screen.
Okay.
All right, that's it for us. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie. I'm going to brunch.
It's
Enjoy.
Frankie Branches.
Frankie Brunches.
And also with you.